Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're obviously doing the Two Blue Vortex Chapter 14 breakdown. A lot of stuff happened in this chapter. A lot of stuff got rehashed. It's a lot of regurgitated information. It's a little bit of dramatic irony, though, because we as the readers know all of this stuff, but it's the first time most of Konoha is learning about any of this, like why the Shinju are after certain people. What are the Shinju? What's going on? What are their motives? How does Boruto have all this information? What happened to Naruto and Sasuke? There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about here. Obviously, towards the end of the video, we're going to get into the whole Shinki is the real Shinju, so theory failed on my end. It happens. But let's talk about Boruto, Two Blue Vortex Chapter 14. Obviously, cover page of the chapter features Kashin Koji with the scrolls from the Prescience Shinjutsu, which was unveiled in the previous chapter. We got the whole rundown of how Prescience works. Check the description, or I'll leave it tagged as the most recent video. The chapter starts off with Boruto's interrogation with the Hidden Leaf Village. So the interrogation is being observed by the village elders. So that's Hamura and Koharu, the elders that were basically making it hard for Tsunade and always siding with Danzo. We have Shikamaru and Amado, who are also viewing the whole interrogation. Obviously, Ada's always watching, so as well as them, we have Ada with her Senrigan, and Konohamaru and Ibiki are leading the interrogation, which starts off with Konohamaru giving us a further breakdown of the chakra suppressant handcuffs that were developed by Amado. Now, these handcuffs, right? They're completely capable of shutting down any jutsu activation, meaning there's no point in weaving hand signs in order for Boruto to attempt his flying Raijin to try and escape. And these handcuffs are also incredibly durable, according to Konohamaru, meaning that trying to break them through physical force won't work either, since they're impact resistance. He says all you'll end up doing is breaking your arms. Now, the interrogation basically goes over a lot of stuff we already knew as the readers, like how Sarada and Himawari are being targeted by the new Ten Tails entities, or the Shinju. He even tells Konohamaru that Matsuri is based off Moegi, and she's after him. The only real revelation that comes from this chapter in regards to the interrogation and of the Shinju is that we get a confirmation that Jura isn't based off of any one particular being, so he's not a copy of Jigen or Ishiki, but he's the direct incarnation of the Ten Tails, and he's the one pulling all the strings. He's the leader. Boruto even says if we can take down Jura, then we can stop all of this from happening. Now, I want to just jump out of the interrogation real quick to acknowledge that Sakura has also made her debut in Two Blue Vortex. So if you're like an OG fan, we got Ibiki from the Chunin exams, as well as his little interrogation he did on one of the pains, I believe was the animal summon when they invaded the Hidden Leaf Village. And we also got Sakura as she's tending to Inojin. So while Boruto's dealing with Ibiki and Konohamaru in the interrogation area, we get to see Sakura for the very first time in Two Blue Vortex. With that being said, we check on the status of Inojin since the last time we saw him. He got completely impaled by Jura's attack just a few chapters ago. It looks like even though Himawari was able to heal the physical injuries caused by the wood-style attack, Inojin's chakra pathway system has been disrupted, which is keeping him from waking up, so he's still unconscious. However, Sakura takes lead in restoring the flow of his chakra, guaranteeing that, he will recover, and she actually goes as far to praise the skills of Himawari's healing abilities as Ino stands by, watching over her son, right? Now, the interrogation, one of the big reveals here is that Naruto is alive. Obviously, like I said, a lot of this we know as readers, but this is the first time the other characters in the story are learning about this. So, as the interrogation begins, Ada is watching everything take place with her Senrigan, and she tells Damon and Kowaki what's going on with Boruto. Now, Damon asks Kowaki what he plans on doing if Boruto decides to tell everyone that Naruto isn't actually dead and that he's been sealed away by Kowaki. But Kowaki says that doesn't matter. What Boruto says doesn't matter because it's still his fault that the Hokage is gone, because no matter what, Boruto is still a dangerous Otsutsuki who can go on a rampage at any moment. So killing Boruto is still going to be the only actual option Konoha has at this time. Now, Kowaki has spit this line a couple of times, so, you know, it's nothing new. But we do get a point in the chapter where Koharu, the Lady Elder, actually asks Boruto why he killed the 7th Hokage, which obviously isn't true, but when Boruto reveals to everyone that Naruto and Hinata are alive and safe somewhere, he refuses to tell them where they are and how they got there. Now this grabs Ada's attention, and she tells Kowaki, you know, it appears that Boruto decided to protect Kowaki's status within the village and refuses to tell anyone the truth of what really happened, which leads to this interesting panel of Kowaki trying to understand Boruto's motives here. Like, why would he do him a solid if he knows he's been trying to kill him? Again, obviously we know Boruto wants to settle things with Kowaki the right way, and I don't think there's any real goal in Boruto's mind or any vision in Boruto's future where he sees omnipotence getting undone. He's settled to live in a world where Kowaki is, you know, the young lord, the natural born son of Naruto. He's settled for that. So he's not really trying to convince anybody that omnipotence happened, right? Because we'll see later on in the chapter, that almost is impossible to do. Obviously, we've seen it throughout, but we'll see more when it comes to how Shikamaru reacts to why he's helping Boruto. But before we jump into that, I just want to briefly touch on this whole Boruto versus Ibiki table level meme. So this is weird because I've been seeing some strange topics being thrown out there about Boruto receiving visible damage from Ibiki, who's, you know, the interrogation specialist, mainly focusing on, you know, acquiring information by inflicting pain and torturing people during the interrogations, which isn't the issue here. But for some reason, I don't know, people are trolling it, calling Boruto table level because he was able to sustain damage when Ibiki slammed his face into the table, threw a punch to his face, gave him a gut punch. You know, Boruto seems fatigued, like they think Boruto's actually some god who can't sustain damage, right? Obviously, Boruto's clearly being nerfed here. He's got the chakra suppressant cuffs on, so on top of not being able to activate jutsu, it's not that you can't weave hand signs and use jutsu, it's that you can't mold your chakra to achieve jutsu. So that means no augmented strength, no Rasengans, no Shinjutsu, probably. Who knows though, you know, it says you can't activate jutsu. So that could be ninjutsu, genjutsu, you probably can't augment your taijutsu, and if it wants to go the extra mile, Shinjutsu could be included. So this whole idea of, like, you know, Boruto's table level, I don't know. I'm gonna let the power scalers deal with that one. That's not me. I am a Naruto Boruto theorist. So as the series is going, and as we have plot threads that have yet to be unraveled, I'm gonna have my theories about them, but I try to not power scale people too much. So it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know. Shikamaru's resolve. All right, this is where we get into the whole omnipotence is just super broken rehash. So this was actually pretty cool to see here. So while the interrogation is taking place, Shikamaru is trying to figure out why he decided to put his trust in Boruto as he tries to work out a plan in order to help him escape. And he thinks back to their previous conversation, and we actually see how the effects of omnipotence works on someone's memory as Shikamaru thinks back to his conversation with Boruto and what he learned about the ability of omnipotence, but the actual name of the ability in his memory is erased, as on the panels the actual name is filled in with a blank spot. Now, we learned with Sasuke, omnipotence is actively erasing details of its use and forcibly making Shikamaru forget why he's helping Boruto, but he still has memories of himself coming to the conclusion that Boruto is actually Uzumaki Boruto, Naruto's son. So he tries to convince Ino to patch him through with the mind transfer jutsu like they did before, but she refuses, saying that she'd be violating over 5 different regulations and that Shikamaru needs to stop this whole secret mission of trying to aid Boruto. Now, this leads to Shikamaru having to figure out something, and he calls in Mitsuki in order to aid in the interrogation by using the venom from his snakes to subdue Boruto, since, you know, he's trying to help Boruto. In actuality, he slips Mitsuki the code that undoes the chakra suppressant handcuffs so that Boruto will be able to escape. Now, we basically are wrapping up here. Boruto escapes, and we get the birth of a new Shinju. So with the access code to undo Amado's handcuffs, Mitsuki enters the interrogation room and immediately enters Sage mode. So you got to remember here, it was like in the first 2 chapters or something where we saw Mitsuki thinking back to how he wants to kill Boruto, right? Kawaki's acting different. You know, he's got all this bloodlust around him all the time. He's like, all I want to do is kill Boruto. If he ever shows his face in the village, I'm going to kill him myself, you know? So everyone around Mitsuki knows that he has this infatuation with killing Boruto. Obviously, us, the readers, saw their battle and how Boruto has changed his mind. Mitsuki kind of has resolved on being Team Boruto. So everyone is basically assuming Mitsuki's going in there bloodlusted, and he enters Sage mode to keep that facade, with everyone believing that Mitsuki's going to go overboard, possibly try to kill Boruto. But in actuality, Mitsuki uses one of his snakes to punch in the password that unlocks the handcuffs, right? This is when Boruto preps his flying Raijin, but before he teleports, he lets everyone know that he doesn't see any of them as foes, right? None of them are his enemy, and that he's even okay with sharing intel with them as needed, but only when Boruto decides it's necessary for them to have said intel. And then he slips out of the interrogation room and he teleports to where his sword and cape is, somewhere in the village, being guarded by like 2 randoms. Doesn't really matter. Boruto grabs his stuff and then flees the village, right? Now, the chapter comes to a close with the elders telling Shikamaru that he's going to have to suffer severe consequences for his blunder, because it was his idea to have Ibiki stop beating up Boruto and send Mitsuki in there to use his snake venom, ultimately leading to Mitsuki releasing Boruto. Now, of course, it wasn't as clear-cut as I'm making it sound. Mitsuki did attack Boruto, but that's when he slipped the snake out, pause, and then basically freed Boruto. Now, like I said, the chapter comes to a close. The elders are pissed. They have severe consequences in line for Shikamaru. I'm kind of curious to see what that's supposed to be. The chapter flashes forward, and we see that Shikamaru is now in the Hokage's office. Sarada comes rushing in, and she finds out that Boruto has escaped. And we get a message for Shikamaru from the Hidden Sand Village. So this is where we see Kankuro. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm very loosely attached to the Boruto anime, but I'm pretty sure Kankuro died fighting Urashiki's puppets. I might be wrong, but, you know, at the end of the day, filler, if you want to call it that, I don't know, anime canon, deal with that if you want, you know. But Kankuro from the Hidden Sand ends up contacting Shikamaru to request help from the Hidden Leaf Village, since both Gaara and Shinki were attacked by the Claw Grimes and possibly the Shinju, with Shinki being trapped in a tree. So Shinki got bit by a Claw Grime. He's now embedded in a tree, which is when the chapter ends with the reveal of Ryu, the Shinju copy of Shinki, being greeted by Jura and the others. So this chapter is kind of, you know, hit or miss. It depends on your perspective on things, because obviously it's a lot of regurgitated information if you're a casual reader. But if you like, you know, the fact that, all right, things are moving forward, Konoha now knows why the Shinju are after them, who the Shinju are, how they were created. We got a good revelation about Jura. You know, he's not a copy of Jigen or Ishiki. He is the Ten Tails in true form. We also got, you know, Shikamaru and Mitsuki working together to save Boruto. I'm kind of surprised where Shikamaru figured out that whole line where, you know, Mitsuki, I guess they were battling, but I'm not sure how he figured out, you know, Mitsuki and Boruto are like this now. Crossing my fingers, you can't tell. But yeah, Boruto, Mitsuki, Shikamaru and Mitsuki save Boruto. Got a nice Sage Mode clip, so we get to see a bunch of cool fan art. Boruto tells everyone that Naruto and Hinata are still alive, and he doesn't sell out Kowaki. So Konoha is now going to be like on the lookout, being like, how do we find Naruto? Naruto's alive. I mean, do we trust Boruto? Should we take that seriously? I don't know, but he revealed that information. Sakura and Ibiki make their debut in 2 Blue Vortex. So if you're an OG Shippuden, OG Naruto fan, right? We haven't seen Sakura in the manga since they were first discussing the karma and its relation to the Byakugo seal. Maybe that pops back up later on. But Sakura and Ibiki make their debut. The hidden sand falls into the mix. So we're getting some world building here. I'm wondering if it's going to be purely because Kashin Koji's hideout is supposed to be on the outskirts of the Land of Wind. He's stashed away in one of Orochimaru's abandoned hideouts near the hidden sand village. So I'm wondering if that's going to just be the real tie-in, or if we're getting world building and later on we'll see, you know, Claw Grimes attack the hidden cloud or the hidden stone or the hidden mist, right? So it'd be kind of interesting to see that we not only do we have Shinju from Konoha, right? We have a Shinju from the inners of Kara with Bug, right? We have a Shinju from the hidden sand, but now we could have the hidden mist, stone, and cloud also intertwined into the mix, getting all the villages involved with trying to take down the Ten Tails. Now, obviously, the end result is Shinki is now a Shinju, or Shinki has a Shinju copy. Ryu, or Ryu, I don't know how you guys want to say that one. Ryu from Street Fighter, it's like, no. Ryu, the new Shinju copy of Shinki. Obviously, Shinki is able to use the Black Iron Dust. He has magnet release, so I'm wondering if he'll be able to incorporate that with the claw marks, because now he's going to have teleportation jutsu on top of being in control of kinetic sand or iron dust. So it's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out together. But he is the youngest Shinju now. Wondering who his target's supposed to be. Is he going to go after Gaara, or is he going to go after someone else, right? Is he going to go after Mitsuki? Not really sure what their whole relationship is as according to the manga, since obviously we have that whole weird thing with, like, I thought Kankuro died in the anime. I don't know. Filler episodes might not count, so let's see where this actually goes out. But let me know what you guys are thinking about the chapter. What do you rate the chapter out of 10? Right now, I'm going to give this one, you know, this is probably the most mid chapter we've had in a while, but I also appreciate what they did with the chapter. So I'll give it like a 7.5, 7.8 out of 10 if you were to ask me, but I'm eager to see what they do with the Shinki variation with Ryu at the end of the day. But looking forward to hearing what you guys are saying in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I've been your man's the Grass Ninja. Have a great day. Peace.